Hey there, horror movie tea sippers.
The following podcast will contain spoilers for the movie we are about to review. If you have not seen the movie and do not wish to have anything ruined prematurely, then please do not continue to listen until after you have seen the movie.
And welcome to the Horror Movie Tea Podcast. So today we are covering Better Watch Out.
You almost forgot again, didn't you?
No, well, I was going to make a comment about it, but I realized that I've done that with a lot of our previous movies. I'm like, you know what? I just need to say the title of the movie and make whatever comment I want to make after. So that's why.
Okay.
But I feel like this movie's not super well known, so I'm kind of excited to get into it.
Yeah.
But before we do that, what tea are you drinking today?
I went super easygoing and just have sweet tea with lemon.
Yeah. That's a good one. And then I finally took the time to properly steep my tea. So I'm doing the Brutalities, I always mess up the name, the Le Cheap Trick.
Yeah, light cheap trick.
Light cheap trick. Yeah, it's so confusing. Some people say lychee, other people say lychee. So I'm like, well, I think it's lychee. So if it's light cheap trick, I think it's lee cheap trick. I don't know. I feel like they need a pronunciation guide with their T's. Like, this is how you pronounce the name correctly. I don't know.
I mean, we could go on to Google.
I'm not that committed. That's fine. But anyways, Better Watch Out. So this movie starts off with a kid, more like a preteen. Like he's like 13 or 14.
He's an early teen.
Yeah, early teen. And
he might play it off as like 12, but the kid looks 14.
Yeah. But anyways, so his parents are going out and they got a babysitter, and it kind of starts off like kind of, the babysitter is like allowing them to drink and watch movies, but she's also known him since he was 8, so it's not like, the first time she's coming over or anything. But the movie takes a quick turn when weird stuff starts happening. And like she thinks she sees something in the backyard and like hears people. And so they go outside in the front, and then there's a crash of the window. And so they go up and it says like, don't leave the house and all of that. But anyways, it turns out that the kid thought it would be a good idea to get to second base by rescuing the babysitter. I mean, they're probably like 3 or 4 years apart. Like they're pretty close. It's kind of a weird dynamic. But come to find out, the kid is a complete and utter psychopath, where he like ties her up and he's like killing her boyfriends / like ex-boyfriends. And he even tries to kill her and kills his friend. And it's just, yeah.
It goes downhill fast.
Yeah, and there's not really a good way to sum it up nicely, but yeah, so we're just gonna get into the entertainment. This one do you have an idea on what you would rate this? Because this one I'm kind of stumped on.
I would like to give it an 8, but I don't think it's quite there. I'm gonna give it a solid 7.5. Honestly, I really like this movie. It's like a hidden gem, and I don't mind watching it over and over. You notice different things when you watch it a second or third time. So I don't appreciate the spiders, the giant spiders, of which there are multiple, and it's not okay. But the rest of the movie is great. So, and it's interesting to see his plan and to wonder if he had almost the entirety of what happened planned out, or if he is really that smart that he thought of different things to cover up a lot of it on the fly.
Mm-hmm.
So I give it a solid 7.5.
For me, because I gave Krampus a 7.5, didn't I?
I think so. I gave it lower just because it wasn't my thing. But
Well, I'm trying to compare Krampus to this movie because what's funny is, well, the reason why I say that is my feelings towards it is similar to where it's obviously a pretty well done movie, even though it's really out there, but the movie makes me uncomfortable, but that's exactly what Krampus did. I know. So that's why I'm like, so I think I'm going to also give it a 7.5 just because it's kind of on par with Krampus to where it's like, it's not a movie I would seek out to watch because it makes me feel kind of uncomfortable, but it's not a bad movie by any means. And I think they did a really good job making you hate the kid. Like, even in the beginning of the movie, you're like, something's really off because he is like
shit of a kid.
yeah, it's like he is trying to get her hard, and then once you find out that he's okay killing people and hurting people, it just brings you further and further down the spiral with him, and you start. I mean, not that I never didn't root for the babysitter, but you really want her to survive. So whenever you initially think she's dead at the end, it just makes you pissed off to no end because you're like, that little shit got away with it.
He actually got away with it. No, but then you see them wheeling her out into the ambulance.
Yes, it's a sweet victory.
Just lifts up her hand.
Yeah, it's sweet victory.
Him off. That's great.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's just like, yeah, you just are like cheering for her at the end.
Yeah, you got caught, you little butt.
But then they also kind of leave it open where he's like, I'm really worried about Ashley. Can we go to the hospital? And then
yeah, they almost set it up for a sequel.
Yeah.
Almost.
It'd be kind of like Halloween 2 where he chases her in the hospital.
Right. Yeah, I don't know if that's what they were going for or not, but it's really interesting. And I don't know how he would think he would be able to get away with something like that in the hospital.
Yeah. Because she obviously doesn't need like a ventilator or anything to stay alive.
No.
I mean, it's blood transfusion for sure she would need.
And several stitches, I'm sure. Possible surgery, but I doubt it.
Yeah, and plus, it's not like when you go into the hospital, you're like, I want to see my babysitter. They're going to be like, oh yeah, you can come in. Like, that's not how that works. Especially if she's in that critical of condition, they might not let anyone see her unless if it's close.
Not until the police have had a chance to talk with her.
Yeah.
And there would probably be police with her pretty much 24/7.
I would imagine so, especially if she's like, that little kid tried to kill me. Because I would imagine, I don't know. She got stabbed in the side of her throat, so she might be able to talk.
I mean, if nothing else, she could write. She clearly had movement over her hands.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair.
She had control over all of her motor functions, it looked like. She was just... They had barely stabilized her. It looked like.
And another thing I like this movie is it does keep giving you like twists and turns, and it gets darker and darker with each twist until you get that final like yes moment at the end. But
it's like a dark Home Alone.
Yeah. But the deaths are pretty unique and interesting.
Except for the Home Alone death.
Well, I hate that death. It's just, I don't know why. Maybe just skulls getting crushed, like freaking, it's just like stuff from like the eyes and it just.
They don't even show it.
I know, but it's still, I hate that scene. I hate it. Just, ugh. But yeah.
It was a very jarring moment because up to that point, he hadn't actually killed anyone yet.
Yeah.
He had just threatened people and
that's true,
and kind of like hurt them here and there, whacked him in the head with various objects, but some of them being a gun and a bat. But he hadn't gone that extra step until that point.
Maybe that's why that scene gets me, because it's like it kind of brings the movie up to another level.
Yes. Because at that point, yeah, he's going to be in a lot of trouble, but he hasn't killed anyone yet. It's possible that he could just get, a few years, or depending on how they play it, just probation or something, but which I doubt, but maybe. When he has his friend drag the boyfriend, to just below the railing of the stairs, and he grabs the paint can, and you know what he's going to do. As soon as you see him bring it out of the closet, you know what he's going to do. And it's kind of that moment that you're like, oh, shit's getting real. And then he swings it that first time, and his friend realizes, and he's trying to talk him out of it. You win.
Yeah.
No, let's not. This is a bad idea. Don't do this. And then he actually does it. And everyone else realizes, oh shit, this is happening.
Well, I think also, at least to me personally, I feel like they're trying to set up that the kid was old talk. And so whenever we first watched that movie, I was expecting if he accidentally, or if he killed the guy, like maybe initially he didn't mean to kill him, he was just wanting to hurt him, and then seeing him actually die would like shake up the kid. But no, it reaffirms him being a psychopath, because he walks down and he just laughs. Like, he is just
saying that was awesome. His head exploded. You can see just the elation on his face.
Like, they really do a great job making you hate this kid.
Well, and rewatching it, you see all these different signs of how deep a psychopath he is.
Yeah.
Because when he gets angry or frustrated, you can see the mask just kind of fall a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And his eyes go like this dead, cold, calculating. And it's a little jarring to see it, honestly.
Yeah, like I think a perfect scene that demonstrates that is right after he kills his friend. Like, he's screaming at him, and then he just kind of like straightens up, and he's like, "You're annoying me anyways." And it's just like,
yeah. At first he was ticked off because he feels very possessive of the babysitter.
Yeah,
and that's why he initially shot him. And then he realized, well, crap, I already shot him. I need to finish it. And that was not in the plan. That's why he seemed so angry.
Yeah.
And was screaming at him after he shot him the second time.
It's like he wasn't upset that his friend was dead. He was upset that he strayed from his plan.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was just another thing that he had to deal with. It was not in his plan, and it was something else that he had to figure out how to kind of cover up.
Yeah. But
he straightens up, he takes a breath. Well, it's just another thing I have to do, basically.
Yeah.
You were annoying me anyway. And also, I feel like he was using his friend as a bit of a cover, kind of camouflage, so people didn't realize that he was a psychopath or that there was something off about him.
Yeah.
And a lot of times they do that kind of thing. They'll look in the mirror and they'll practice the different facial expressions for emotions and things, so they can kind of hide that there's something off about them, and they'll act a certain way and have different relationships with people to kind of hide that fact as well.
Yeah.
But the babysitter does mention to Garrett before he gets shot and killed that that he just uses him and manipulates him, that he's not an actual friend.
Mm-hmm.
So it's amazing to see that mask come off. He really is one of the better child actors, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. It definitely, it's almost like Joffrey level, to where it's like you believe how terrible the kid is.
Yeah.
And you just like hate him.
that far.
Well, no.
I don't think anyone can get quite Joffrey.
Well, I'm not saying he's like Joffrey level cruel, but I am saying that it's that same concept. Because like the actor that plays Joffrey, like gets so much hate, and he's like, I'm not like that in real life. You know, it's like that's what I feel like with this actor. It's like, even though I don't know how he is in real life, it just makes me like want to hate him.
He does a good job, too good a job.
Yeah, a very good job.
Yeah, it can work against him, but it was a very interesting portrayal, and I think he did a really, really good job with this role in the way that he played it. And when you see him taking down the different things and setting up different things, you really see his intelligence. That he did plan a lot of that out.
Yeah, and he seems to be a fairly good quick thinker as well.
Mm-hmm. He does a lot of quick thinking on his feet.
Yeah.
And he almost got away with it.
You know, one thing that kind of confused me was the scene where he was talking about his mother and how she stopped, like, tucking him in, which, I don't know, I guess you could kind of say it's alluding to why he's a psychopath, but I don't think that really...
Not quite.
But anyways, whenever the babysitter's like, I know why, and then she doesn't like tell him, and then that's when he stabs her. I mean, do you think she's completely playing him, or if she knew?
Well, at some point, parents stop like holding them, tucking them in, picking them up. Like there was a time at one point where your parents put you down and didn't pick you up again.
Yeah. Oh, why would you say that? I don't even remember that moment. I should remember that.
No one, most people don't, but that's a normal thing. It's part of growing up.
You just destroyed my childhood.
It's just a thing that happens, and it's part of growing up.
Yeah.
But he didn't understand that, and it was a change to the routine.
That's true. I don't know.
He also hates to be ignored, and she was using that as a weapon.
He did seem very almost obsessive compulsive too. So I almost wonder, because especially with people with anxiety or OCD, if they were alluding to the fact that he had OCD, it is very much about routine, and if that is strayed, it definitely caused a lot of mental stress. But it's like I don't know that much about psychopaths, so I don't know if they have a similar mindset where it's like everything needs to be in order and have a routine, or if that's dependent on the person. So I can't really speak to that.
It depends on the person, but there are different levels too. So there's no set thing. There are just a lot of common traits and things that he checks a lot of boxes on.
Yeah.
He was you do see, especially in the beginning, he's a very clean kind of kid. He's dressed very nicely. He seems very put together, very intelligent. His friend is kind of surprising.
Yeah. The opposite. Like opposites attract sometimes though.
Yeah. Yeah, but most of what he does seems very deliberate.
Yeah. Like he's definitely, especially with him, the way that he wears his mask and the way that he portrays himself, he's trying to be as well presenting as possible. Mm-hmm. So that way he seems extremely innocent.
Yeah. And I feel like a lot of the other things that they mention just kind of leads up to this point. Like it was always going to go this way. Like when they do have the checkbox where he's killed small animals, his friend's hamster.
That was a nice little detail that they added.
Yes. He keeps spiders. And
how is that a sign you're a psychopath? You're like, how is it not?
It is in my book. No. When his friend got caught skipping one of his classes, he made the teachers believe that the kid stopped some vandals. So thinking on the fly there and getting out of trouble there, when they were caught stealing from the mom's purse, he faked sleepwalking so they could get away with it and the friend could get out of the house. So he's setting things up, and he uses the sleepwalking thing later as kind of an alibi, almost.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the mom has been putting a pencil on the doorknob after he goes to sleep to make sure that he hasn't left the room or something. It's like a sign that he's left the room or whatever.
Yeah.
And he puts the pencil back and then uses the window to crawl back into his room.
Yeah.
So he's trying to set everything up to where it couldn't have possibly been him. He's a well-behaved kid. He's, he's a great kid, very polite, doesn't cause any trouble. He helps with things. He just sleepwalks now and then.
You can keep talking. Navi sounds traumatized, like she really wants to come in, so. Come in, kitty.
We're recording.
I know, but she was banging at the door. Oh, what the heck? Okay, I think the chair scared her. Oh.
Cat doing cat things. Anyway, so he does a really good job for the most part of trying to make everything look like there's no possible way it could be him doing these things.
Yeah.
It's like a lot of the other serial killer type stories that they were such a quiet neighbor. They were so nice. Whenever we would talk to them, they were quiet. They never bothered anyone.
Yeah.
Well, about that.
Yeah.
He was handing out hot chocolate to carolers with a guy head exploded just behind the door.
Yeah. But I don't have anything else to add to entertainment. How about you?
No, it's a very interesting movie and very creative. And I enjoy it thoroughly.
Yeah.
Navi's being very...
Yeah, she tried to knock over my mug. I'm like, no! Oh my goodness.
So everyone say hi to Navi.
She's being a hyper butthead. Which is weird because Steven played with her earlier today. And she is purring up a storm. But anyways. So realism.
Mischief maker.
Yeah, she is. Because, whenever, if she gets upset enough, she'll actually, fling her body against the door. And she was starting to do that. That's why I'm like, I better let her in before she injures herself. There's one time that Steven went to sleep and his door was closed. I saw her. She freaking blonk, right against the door. Her body just yeah. She just body slams stuff when she gets upset enough and wants in. It's
like Jax. Jax will body slam the bed if we aren't getting up to let him out.
Get up.
Basically.
Oh, animals. But, so realism.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure. The deaths and how they portray them seem pretty legit. Mm-hmm. And even though the possibility of a kid being a psychopath and killing a lot of people, it seems pretty out there, it's not completely out of the realm of possibility.
Mm-hmm. It's a low chance for sure, but...
Yeah. I don't know. I'm kind of feeling like a 5.
Yeah.
Or maybe a 6.
Yeah, I'm feeling around a 6, like a tentative 6.
Do we want a consensus with a 5.5?
Yeah, that would probably be safer. But, the deaths themselves, the biggest thing that I have an issue with is, no one heard 2 shotgun blasts. Really?
Yeah.
In that neighborhood?
Shotguns are really loud.
Yeah.
And all the screaming and rocket, I don't know. It just...
No one saw or heard a window break? Really? I mean, I guess, but then after that, hearing 2 shotgun blasts, I feel like that would kind of stir up something.
And plus, those types of neighborhoods, even though they call it a safe neighborhood, the neighbors tend to be kind of paranoid in those types of neighborhoods, and they're like constantly watching each other, whether it be to be like nosy and gossipy, or if it's to be like, is something happening? I need to know.
Yeah.
So,
but window breaking, that's just another area where sound can escape from a little easier. Like, it's not as confined from a window. I know it's on a different floor, but still, the houses with high ceilings like that are pretty echoey.
Yeah.
They have really good acoustics.
Yeah.
So I feel like it would seem almost louder, and
Maybe.
someone would have heard. And there are carolers out, for crying out loud.
Yeah.
You'd think someone would have heard.
Yeah.
But I don't know. So no one hearing any of that, and then him, it's almost like the Home Alone thing where he has enough time to not just set it up, but to clean everything and put everything away.
Yeah.
And set everything up to look like it was several homicides and a suicide.
Which that seems, the timing of it seems really out there, because it's not like he was planning for all of that additional stuff to happen.
Yeah.
I
know one of the guys came like 15 minutes early, but
yeah, just
I don't know. It all seemed a little, the timing does seem off.
Yeah, like how long all of that would have taken would be way longer than the parents would be out, for sure.
Yeah. Now I can see the parents not noticing like the reindeer moving when he sets it back up.
Yeah.
And not seeing the candy cane almost falling. There are some people that are just not that observant. And they are talking to each other and not really paying attention that much to their surroundings. So
and they probably had been like drinking and yeah.
Yeah. So I could see that kind of thing happening. But I don't know. There are just a few things here and there that just don't make that much sense.
Yeah. Yeah, but
so we can't give it that high of a score.
Yeah, but I mean, that's fair with a lot of movies. But I mean, as far as the realism skill, though, that's pretty high, a 5.5.
Yeah.
So this movie does a pretty decent job.
Given.
Yeah.
So they do a good job there. I know that he put paint on the hanging guy's fingers.
Oh, and then
but I feel like they would have fingerprinted the paint can itself, which he didn't bring over to the guy that was hanging.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
But
he missed a few things.
And then as far as the babysitter goes, I feel like she made a very valiant effort to do whatever she could to try and get away. And obviously, with her life being threatened, she didn't fight as hard as she could have. But whenever she had the opportunity, she gave it a good amount of effort. So it's like if I was in that situation, I wouldn't imagine I would do anything much differently than she did. Like, she did
a really good job.
Yeah. Now, the boyfriend that gets hit with the paint can, he kind of sucked because he's just like sitting there. And I'm like, well,
he wasn't smart about it.
It's like she obviously was able to turn over her chair and he's just sitting there like not trying at all.
Yeah, I mean, even if you can't really go like fully back with your legs taped to the chair, you can go to the side.
Mm-hmm.
After seeing that paint can go to the side, I'd be throwing myself to the side.
Yeah.
Nah.
Yeah. No.
I ain't about to let that happen.
No. Nope.
And his friend was really stupid. If you think about it logically, there's only really one way that could go for him to be able to get out of it. Yeah. And that's to kill everyone.
Yeah.
Including the kid. Including the friend. Because the way he was acting and probably the way the psychopath kid would have seen it, he was a liability. Sooner or later, he was gonna crack.
Yeah.
And he was going to tell someone what happened. He kept saying most of the time, I just want this to be over.
Yeah.
He didn't want to be involved in any of that. At one point, he wanted to leave. It was always going to go that way. He should have helped sooner.
Yeah.
He was kind of stupid about it, the way he was trying to go about it. But
Yeah. Well, and then the fact that he allowed himself to go along with it so deeply. Whenever he touched Ashley without her consent for the truth or dare, it's like, I don't know. I felt like the kid should have known that that was wrong and should have been like, okay, we need to stop doing this now. But no, he waited until someone died. And then I was like, oh yeah, I don't know if I want to be a part of this. It just took way too long.
yeah. And I feel like a lot of that was because he trusted the kid too much.
Maybe, yeah.
He really genuinely thought, this is my friend. He has a plan. He's a really smart guy. He knows how to get us out of this. But he didn't use his own head.
No.
Think logically, where is this going?
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. But I don't have a whole lot to add. As far as horror Christmas movies goes, it's not necessarily, at least for me personally, in like the top 3 movies I'd watch for Christmas, but it's definitely in the top 10 for sure.
Oh yeah, definitely in the top 10.
Like it's definitely up there.
Yeah, personally, I would go for this over Krampus.
Hmm.
It's not a very, very Christmassy movie. There's a lot of Christmas decor.
Yeah.
And he does, at the end, tie her up with a string of Christmas lights.
Which was kind of
still
stupid.
on for some reason.
Yeah, that's kind of silly.
I was wondering about that, by the way. Why are the lights still on? But okay.
He wanted to be festive.
Apparently. And it's interesting that he chose red.
Yeah. He's like, I want it to match the color of your blood.
Yeah. So it's more of it happens to occur during the Christmas season.
Yeah.
Not so much that it's based around Christmas time, like a Christmas Horror Story or Krampus or something like that. It's similar to Gremlins in that aspect.
Yeah.
Like it happens to take place during that time of year.
Yeah.
Not that it's necessarily actually a Christmas movie.
Definitely agree. So it's like if you don't like having Christmas thrown up on you, like with Krampus or a Christmas Horror Story,
with the Christmas stuff,
then you would like this movie because it's obviously Christmas related, but as Jess said, it's not like Christmas, blah, just like everywhere.
Throw up Christmas all in your face. Yeah, no. It's there, but they don't shove it in your face all the time.
Yeah.
Which is nice.
Yeah.
So, I don't really have that much more to say about this movie. If you haven't seen it already, it is well worth the watch. It's worth a couple of watches because after you've seen it, you pick up little things here and there that you didn't notice before. And those are really cool. And
one thing that I find interesting about the movie too is the movie itself really isn't that gory. Like any of the scenes, like you said, with like the paint can or like the stabbing in her neck, like you don't really, or even when the Fred gets shot, you don't really see that. You just hear it. A lot of it's inferred. Yeah. Or like with the paint can, you see like the blood like running down with the yellow paint. So they allude to a lot of that detail. So it's all in your imagination on like as far as what you want to picture.
I actually really appreciate that they focus more on the different people's emotions.
Yeah.
Or their reactions to the deaths. So a lot of times they cut to him because he is the main one to watch. But like with the paint can, you watch the friend mostly. And then they cut to the babysitter. Then they cut to his reaction, which is a complete and total 180.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and when he shoots his friend for the second time, they show the first one, there's blood on him and everything. And he's like, you shot me. I want my mom. And he cuts him off with another blast. Yeah. But with that second blast, they only show psychopath.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like that was a nice touch because I don't know, so many movies show way too much of the gore, and I know that some movies that's appropriate and even needed, but this movie it would have been detrimental to the movie if they
It
focused
would
on the
have.
gore versus the reaction. So I think that was a very good choice on their part for sure.
It was definitely a nice touch. And with each one you see his mask slip just a little bit further. So when
Yeah.
he quote unquote kills the babysitter, you can see he's frustrated and annoyed, she won't answer him and all, and then it goes away.
Mm-hmm.
And he just ends it. He thinks.
Yeah.
And then time to clean up.
Yeah. Like the movie feels gorier than what you actually see, which is very nice touch. They did a awesome job. But
Yeah. And you don't get that very often.
yeah, because some movies you're like, oh, they're trying to be cheap and not show any of the stuff. But I think it helps a lot that they showed like for the head scene, like you see the blood running with the yellow paint. It's just it's not actually like graphic, but it's graphic enough to where you're like, holy crap, like.
You get the idea.
Yeah, yeah. While a lot of other movies that don't show gore just kind of like cut to the side and they don't really do anything.
Well, also in the head scene, after he's cleaned up a little bit of it, you see in the floor the paint, and you see just this clean area where clearly his head stopped the flow of the paint. And it was very interesting to see that and how he left a lot of that there.
Yeah.
Purposely.
Yeah.
Which I bet was such a pain to get off of those nice hardwood floors. It was nice hardwood floors. It's just a nightmare to clean. The cringiest bits, cleaning up the crime scene.
Oh my gosh.
No. So they use the different angles for the camera to a very, very good effect.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they were very purposeful with the movie. It seemed very Navi's messing with the light. It seems very on track. It was a very focused movie. They knew what they wanted to accomplish and they did exactly that for sure.
Yeah. It's a little hard to be bored with this movie because once stuff starts happening, it goes quick.
Yeah. Yeah, very quick.
So, again, if you haven't seen it already, guys, go watch it. It's worth it. And if you have any other suggestions of any other movies, please let us know. Leslie, we are getting to your request, but we do have another Christmas movie, one more, to review before we get to that one. So I promise we're getting to it. Just takes a little bit of time.
Yep. That's what happens when we have theme months.
Yes. But we hope you're enjoying this one so far. And until the next movie, guys, stay safe and stay spoopy.
Bye.
Bye.